what was, for you personally, the one burning issue for you this year?
For me, it was child poverty. We've got more than 200,000 Kiwi kids growing up in child poverty. Good on the Prime Minister for saying it's going to be a focus of this term of government.
That's his big issue as well.
I don't trust him to deliver.
Why don't
but
you
it's
trust
something
him?
we need Kiwis to get
Why
together.
don't you trust him?
Because what we've seen under National is inequality grow. We've seen beneficiaries literally
And under
beaten
Labour.
over.
And under Labour as well.
Well, we saw inequality go down under the last government.
Exactly.
What we see under National is tax cuts for the rich, beneficiaries doing worse and worse, Kiwis working more than 40 hours a week and still
All right.
paying.
You respond to that, Tim?
Well, that's wrong, because 77% of my constituents now pay 17.5 cents in the dollar in income tax, and that's a significant reduction. So it wasn't. It's an easy throwaway line, but it's not true.
No, it's not.
But let me tell you,
Reality is
I do have some common ground there with Gareth, because yes, the Prime Minister has made it clear we are very concerned about vulnerable children in this country, and it has been, for me, a particularly important issue.
Not only was he concerned, he said in the Sydney Morning Herald that he admitted that that child poverty didn't go anywhere under your watch.
Well,
that you failed.
Tackling it is a long-term thing, and that's why I'm fully behind our welfare reforms. It is absolutely vital we get more and more New Zealanders off being welfare dependent and being able to be self-reliant into work. We are doing far more to put real effective wraparound services around our young, our vulnerable and our welfare dependent people than ever before. And in that sense, the national government is delivering and we will have long-term gain.
Okay, so what is the burning issue for you personally?
Well, I would say that is a significant thing, because we've got to get our young people
Grant
focused.
Robinson, the issue of the last year for you,
Yeah,
what was it?
It is that issue. It is that 200,000 kids grow up
So
in...
that's three of you.
Yeah, but 200,000 kids grow up in homes where there isn't enough money coming in for 3 good meals to be on the table every day. That isn't good enough. But it's actually bigger than that. It's about the growing gap between the rich and the rest. So the economy apparently was improving, but for most people they didn't see that. Inequality is the biggest issue in New Zealand today.
Is it? Peter Dunn, the one big issue for you for the last year.
We've all talked about it, but I'd put a slightly different spin on it. I think the one big issue is the same issue that New Zealand has always had, and that's people's quest for security in their own lives. Economic security, a sense of social security, how they fit in their local communities. Partly that's about income, partly that's about the overall state of society, and partly it's about how now we're coming out of the worst of the great economic recession, how we use the gains from economic growth to bolster education and health and social services. I don't think it's any different.
How do you think we should then?
Well, I think that's got to be the priority of the next 3 years, and that's looking at policies that will deliver effective services.
You're smirking
in that
there,
respect.
Grant.
I was just saying that, I mean, it's been
But
6 years. So for Tim and Peter to say, you know, this is the burning issue of 2014 for them, well, both of them were in government when it got worse.
It's been the burning issue of this country really since responsible government was formed.
I've been an
It takes
MP
a
6
different
years
twist.
and we've been working on it all that time. It takes a long time. We will see real gains. I'm quite confident of that. I think that we're starting to see them already with fewer and fewer people on welfare each week. That's got to be good. More and more children growing up in homes that are not welfare dependent. That's got to be good.
You respond to that, Gareth. What would you make of that?
Well, all they're focusing on is trying to get beneficiaries off the benefit. But Kiwi workers are working some of the longest hours for some of the lowest paid, paying some of the highest cost of living in the OECD. National's economy just isn't working for New Zealand.
But they voted them in. They voted National back in.
But I think that's where you've got it wrong. You're looking at symptoms rather than where we want to be. What we need to be looking at is the overall structure of the economy, our social services, and how we deliver things that do lead to reductions.
So why is
rather
it
than
getting
simply
worse and
looking
worse
at
under
tackling
your
the
government?
particular
It's not. You say
symptoms.
that, but
If
you
you
never
carry on
produce
focusing
evidence
on
to
that,
show that.
things will get worse.
All right.
If you take a more fundamental approach, they'll improve.
The big issue that we were told in 2011, coming through the next couple of years, was asset sales. That was the big thing. You guys campaigned on it, and yet it wasn't such a big issue for people, was it?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, they'd hocked them off, Wallace. That's the problem. And so in this election, we did talk about the importance of growing up assets. You know, we actually had a policy to use the funds that we currently have to try and strengthen our asset base. But we all got similar feedback about jobs on the doorstep, and it does come down to economic opportunity. That's where I do agree with Peter,
comes
that
down
it
to
is
the
about
economy.
everybody having that opportunity.
So in that sense, the Nats were right, weren't they? Because there
But
wasn't a mandate for change.
It's a small part of society having that opportunity. It's actually about
It's not a
everybody
small
having the
part.
opportunity.
It's every person.
Exactly, that's the point. The problem is that if you actually look at what's happening in New Zealand today, that isn't occurring. You
So
go right around New Zealand, Wallace.
I
it's
hear
not.
what you're saying. So try and make me understand, why didn't people vote for you then?
Well, yeah, that is a good question.
Yeah.
And that's what we're
Well,
working on right now.
Why do you
Wallace.
think? Why?
I actually have more agreement with Grant than you might imagine, but I think that but I think that the real issue as to why people didn't vote for the Labor Party goes back to what I said to Gareth. They don't like sectional solutions. They want to see an overall approach as to how everyone is going to be taken forward, not just this group or that group. And by targeting particular problem areas, what you effectively do is marginalise everyone
A
else.
brief response.
Yeah, look, it's never one answer. It's about making sure that we connect with people, and it is about making sure that we have a coherent story to tell about how we're going to make New Zealand a better place.
Right,
Darren
thank-
Watson, the name behind Planet Key, the song. Hello, Darren.
All right.
G'day, mate. How are you?
Hey!
Now we had you on the show earlier. What's the update on the song? Last time we saw you, it was never allowed to be played anywhere ever.
Yeah, well, that's still the rule. We're waiting on the judge, Justice Clifford's decision. We were in court on September 11. We came up here for drinks afterwards and actually met Nikki Hago, which was a lot of fun. So, left-wing conspiracy, anyone? But anyway, no, so we're still waiting on the justice's decision, and hopefully we'll get some common sense. That's what we're after.
Well, we thought we'd give you. It's been an expensive exercise for you. We thought you'd give an opportunity to plug your new album, which is called
Introducing Darren Watson.
Introducing Darren Watson, the man who needs no introduction this year, and play us out to the ads with a little bit of music. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you. So it goes like this.
If you mean me right, darling, if you mean me wrong. It's not political, or is it? If you mean me right, darling, if you mean me wrong. I'm gonna look you in the eye, and I know what's going